Ladies and gentlemen, Red Pill TMZ, where you know I'm spilling the conservative tea. Quick disclaimer, okay? First of all, if you are the holier than thou prudish type who thinks that you're never supposed to expose anyone, you're never supposed to say anything to anybody, you're never supposed to talk about anybody, and it makes me look bad to say anything about a personal experience that I've had in my life, number one, you can go fuck yourself, because what you really are is you're an enabler and a flying monkey. Go look up those terms. And number two, if you don't like it, you can leave, okay? Because I'm not sharing this experience to disparage anyone. I'm not sharing this experience to hurt anyone. I'm sharing this experience because this is a real life situation with a very violent, narcissistic alcoholic. And I want you guys, as my audience, as my ragers, as my fans, I care for you. And I want the best for you, which means I'm trying to educate you so that you can protect yourself against individuals like this. And if you accidentally get involved with individuals like this, as I did, you know how to get out of it, okay? And you know how to get out of it safely. This is about psychology. This is not about revenge, okay? So the reason that I call this the Josh Pruitt origin story is not because I've known him his whole life, okay? He and I knew each other for a very, very, very short amount of time, both before the Capitol and after the Capitol, and likewise before my trauma with my daughter and after my trauma with my daughter. So I met Josh in DC, right outside of the Freedom Plaza, and it almost seemed like from the first moment he was love bombing me. You know, I was just there to have a good time. It's for Christmas. I think there was probably several hundred people who saw me singing karaoke in my war paint back on December 12th. And, you know, you guys know me. You know, I'm out there. I talk to everybody. I want to be friends with everybody. I'm cool with everybody. Like, I'm just super friendly, obviously too friendly. And when you are that way, you know, narcissistic people tend to gravitate toward you, and they want to either steal your shine or they want to become a part of your shine. And I have to go to the bathroom so bad. Hold on one second. Okay, so sorry. So, yeah, too much spicy food. I love jalapenos. I can't stop that. So anyway, so I met Josh at the December 12th rally in DC, and you know, I ended up staying at his house for about 3 weeks. It was constant drunkenness. It was constant arguing. It was putting up with am I still live on here? Hello. Okay. It was putting up with a lot of immature behavior, a lot of clout chasing, a lot of lies, a lot of future casting, a lot of love bombing. I mean, it was like an intense 3 weeks. And, you know, somebody had asked me, you know, why did you stay there? And at the risk of really not putting myself in a good light, I'm going to be very honest about why I stayed with him and in his place. Because at the time, and many of you know, my daughter had recently gone into the hospital a couple of weeks before that on the East Coast. I needed to stay on the East Coast in order to get my daughter out. And during the course of time that I stayed with Josh, I had driven from DC to South Carolina to try to get her out twice, not once, but twice. And then the third time I got her out, which was, you know, a month later, obviously things did not go well. So really, I mean, it was for my daughter. you know, I was on unemployment at the time and trying to figure out, like, should I go back to Vegas and wait for her? Should I go back to Oakland and wait for her? You know, how much is it going to cost to keep flying back and forth and back and forth? And it was just a hell of a lot cheaper to just stay on the East Coast, not have to pay for a hotel, and be able to get in the car or rent a car and drive down and go get her, because I didn't know when she was going to get out. I didn't know when the doctors were going to release her. And I mean, nobody was telling me anything. So I wanted to make sure I stayed as close to her as I possibly could. That being said, I couldn't stay with my mom. I can't stay with my aunt because her husband's a drunk. I can't stay with my, you know, one of my cousins because she's living in house with a drunk. There was nowhere else for me to go of anybody that I knew that would have made it convenient to make getting my kid possible. Okay. So if that makes me sound like whatever, then I accept that. And I hope that people don't interpret it that way. But again, this is one of those things that we as women, we will do in order to take care, to get our kids. You know, I was willing to do anything to get my kid, including, you know, stay in an apartment with this dumb fuck, you know, and that was that, you know. So that's my explanation. It's a reason, it's not an excuse, but it is what it is. So before I get into the Proud Boy shit, the Enrique shit, the Capital shit, before I get into any of that, I also want to give another disclaimer about this dude. This is not an excuse for his behavior whatsoever, but I want you guys to mentally, cognitively understand why he is this way. This is an individual whose both of his parents were heroin addicts, okay? And the only reason I even believe this story is because I met Josh's sister and I was, you know, able to have this conversation with her, okay? She confirmed this. Both of his parents were heroin addicts, and Joshua's father was diagnosed with HIV from being an intravenous drug user when he was 8 years old. And then 2 years before that, Joshua's mother OD'd, and as a 6-year-old little boy, Josh did find his mother dead. Now, there are a lot of relationship experts that I listen to, and one of them said something very poignant, and I think this will give you guys some idea of like why Josh is the way he is. Joshua, or this is what she said. She said that when a man is either abandoned by his mother or loses his mother, he will forever stay stunted in that emotional place. Okay? So Joshua's behavior is that of a 6-year-old. It's mine, gimme, and then threats of violence and intimidation when he doesn't get his way. You know, tantrums when he doesn't get his way, which was a major problem, obviously, with me hanging out with him, staying with him, you know, dating him, I guess, is that, you know, it was constant tantrums, constant fucking tantrums, okay? I need you guys to understand that the behavior that you guys have experienced with Josh or seen of Josh is that of a 6-year-old child, okay? Whether it's the constant lying, constant excuses, constant trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? These quick attachments, you know, which is a major sign of narcissism, is when somebody like latches onto you and like gets really attached really fast, and like they're telling you that they love you the first like 5 days you're together, and talking about getting married and dogs and, you know, how I'm gonna, you know, be a stepmom to his kids and all this other shit. You know, but me being the person I am, like, I'm just gonna sit back and just look at you. Like, I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm just gonna look at you. So that is something that I want you guys to remember, and that is he is a textbook narcissist. He has no self-control whatsoever when it comes to his drinking. He has absolutely no self-control when it comes to his lying. He's a pathological liar. Almost nothing that comes out of his mouth is true, okay? All right. Why are we doing this? Why am I even doing this episode? Well, because I have kept my mouth shut about his behavior for damn near a year now. Okay? I have not snitched on him to the Proud Boys. Well, to one Proud Boy. We'll get to that later. I have not spoken about him on my channel publicly. I have not done anything. I've not wanted to have any association with this motherfucker at all, period. Okay? Since I stopped seeing him. And since he continued to lie to me even after I stopped seeing him. So I'm bringing this up because I was on TikTok about 2 weeks ago, okay? And his face comes up on my For You page, but it's a reaction video. And then then I look at it, and then I follow the person that, is talking about Josh, and then I start to see, oh my God, now this guy is like everybody's talking about Josh, right? Because apparently he has threatened a bunch of people, and he's telling people online that he's going to kill people, and all this other shit, which I don't really care about. But the reason I'm finally deciding to do this Red Pill TMZ is because now everyone else is seeing what I already saw. Now everyone else is seeing publicly what I had been holding my tongue about for so long. Okay? So now I don't even need the receipts because everybody else has them. You know what I mean? Everybody else has the receipts. I don't even need to show my receipts. But I'm gonna, because this motherfucker needs to be put to an end. We need to end this shit with him. Honestly, and I don't say this lightly, but people like that really should go kill themselves. And let me tell you why. Before you get your panties in a bunch and say that I'm like suicide shaming. I'm not. People like that really should kill themselves because what they do is they make a habit of destroying other people's lives on a regular basis. They make a habit of harassing and bullying and intimidating people for no reason. People who are kind to them, people who want to show them love, people who want to show them support, people who want to show them kindness and understanding. Men like that shit on people all the time. And honestly, with his propensity for violence, I would say that the world would be a safer place without Joshua Pruitt in it. Okay? I said what I said. And if you want to write me letters or get in my comments talking about, oh, suicide is wrong, you shouldn't make fun. No, fuck that. Okay, some people should kill themselves because they are nothing but a waste of space in humanity. They are nothing but destroyers of humanity. They are destroyers of love. They are destroyers of purity. Okay? How many people does this guy have to threaten before someone takes care of him? How much more does he have to continue to further destroy the fraternity's reputation on his own by going rogue and saying that he's something that he's not? I mean, I don't know if he's been disavowed or not, but I do know that there ain't no way as a first degree, if he still is in the fraternity, there is no way as a first degree that he should have been opening his mouth to left news media outlets for as long as he had been doing that and continues to do it. That's another reason I'm bringing this up, is because the Capitol riot story on HBO just fucking aired, and supposedly he was in it. I haven't seen it, but supposedly he was talking in that too. All right? Okay. All right. So let's start with the Proud Boys. Let's start with what happened with Enrique. Okay. So everyone saw the video from November 14th. And what most people don't realize is that that night was just one of those nights that would forever change Joshua's life. Okay. So he was probably, I'm sure he was drunk that night, because he's always drunk. He's drunk, at You know, he's drunk by noon, usually every day. So he's up at like 9 or 10 every day. He's drinking after he has his morning tea, and then he's usually drunk by noon, okay? So I'm sure he was drunk that day. He goes out to a rally. He sees Antifa acting stupid, and, you know, he does something about it. And that's cool. That's fine. That's impressive. I like that, you know. Beard and muscles. I like that. I support that. And then somehow later on that night, when the fraternity's marching around a city, somehow Joshua gets involved with them, and he starts banging on Antifa too. Okay, so of course this impresses the Proud Boys, and without any sort of background check or vetting, Enrique decides to do a street swear-in where he has him recite the tenets, and I'm not even sure if Joshua had to get, you know, jumped in and do the 5 cereal thing. I'm not even sure if that happened, but that video goes viral, and I think it had something like 8 million views, 30 million views. I don't know how many views it had, but it had several million views. Okay, you have to understand that something like this happening to somebody who is as unstable and insecure as Joshua is, that was what he needed in his life to feel important, even if it was just for 15 minutes. Now, the big drawback with that is that, at least according to Josh, because he had known so many people in DC, and DC is a very small town, because of that, excuse me, he got doxxed, and supposedly he lost whatever job he had at the time. And he's one of those people who, and I noticed this in our relationship, is that it didn't matter what kind of attention that he was getting. All that mattered was that he got a lot of attention, you know. There were times where, you know, I'd be reading something or he'd be on the computer, you know, we're just hanging out, you know, as, you know, I guess a couple getting to know each other would do, you know. And he would just be constantly making noises like he had Tourette syndrome, okay? And I'm a Virgo, so I like quiet. I like peace and quiet. I like to be in my own thoughts. I like to be able to, you know, sit down in front of the computer for an hour or two and just have complete focus on whatever I'm looking at or reading about or researching. But this guy, it was like he always had to be in my fucking face. He always had to have my attention. He always needed to be praised for whatever, or it didn't matter. He would tell the same jokes over and over and over again every day. He would listen to the same 10 Hops and Eminem songs every single day. The same Avenged Sevenfold fucking songs every fucking day. You know, and it was fucking bizarre. It was really bizarre. But again, it was part of that attention. It was almost as if I used to make this joke in my head, and I've never really said this out loud, but it was like he was trying to what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say Pablo Escobar. What was his name? Paloma? Whoever the general was, or the dictator was in like Panama, and the soldiers were like playing rock music like night and day and shining lights in his fucking house, in his mansion. Like, I used to feel like that's what he was doing to me mentally and emotionally. Like, whatever he could do to absolutely have my attention at all moments of the day, he would do that, you know? I felt like he was torturing me sometimes with just how fucking stupid he was. So nonetheless, when you give somebody like that, Noriega, thank you, Jesse. Noriega. I used to feel like he would Noriega me, whether it was with loud music, whether it was with making all these noises, whether it was just getting drunk and asking me dumb fucking questions. It was always that, okay? So when this happened with Enrique, he felt like this was the pinnacle of his career. He felt like this was something that he could monetize, something he could capitalize on. And being that it was COVID, being that he couldn't get a job anyway, being that he got doxxed by all these former coworkers of his at these bars he worked at, being that all of this was happening, the guy had no hope other than this video that went viral, okay? But he's so stupid, he didn't realize that just getting a street swear in did not actually mean you were a frat boy, okay? And y'all know what I mean when I say frat boy. I'm trying not to lose my YouTube channel, okay? This is what he wanted. This was a drug that he could just eat up. This was sugar for him to just eat up, you know? And he in his limited, grandiose, narcissistic fucking mind, this meant that he was somehow a god amongst the fraternity, not realizing that, hey guys, this is just a video. And and the thing about look, let me find it. Fuck it. Let me find it. Okay. The thing about the video is that it does not, it is no reflection of anything about him. It's more a reflection of Enrique. It's more a reflection of the fact that Enrique publicly did a swear in, and that's why it had so many views. It wasn't because Joshua did or said anything in particular that was impressive in any particular way, you know, and that's where the delusion of this guy began. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you. You guys have probably seen this, but you can watch it again.
So you're going to repeat after me. I state your name. John Pruitt. I'm a Western chauvinist. And I refuse to apologize. For creating the modern world. I am a proud boy.
Now, little did these dumb fucks know. Little did these dumb fucks know what this guy was going to end up doing later, okay? That went to his head. And they gave him a PB shirt. And he used to wear it every fucking day until it stunk, just like he used to wear his stupid Punisher shirt every day, all right? Supposedly, he was supposed to get involved with a chapter. But the thing is, that night of that swearing, nobody gave him anything. Nobody gave him any information. Nobody told him where to go. Nobody told him what the website was. Like, it was just for show. It was just, I don't want to say it was a joke, but it was just it was symbolic. It wasn't an actual swearing, okay? Because there does need to be a background check. They do need to send in a video, like a vetting video. You do need to have conversations on the phone. You do need to come to a meet and greet first before you're ever invited to church or you're ever being sworn in. But he thought that he could skip all of these steps. So fast forward, okay? He's already involved with me. I'm already staying at his place. He comes to find out that I have a relationship with the fraternity. So he comes to find out through just us having conversations about being patriots and, you know, the election and everything else that we're upset about. He comes to find out that my content is not heavy with their stories, but there is a good presence of their stories on my content because I used to make a lot of videos and stuff for them, supporting them, praising them, you know, trying to show the personalities of the men that I had meant and not what the media was saying about them, okay? So immediately, that's something that gets his dick hard. Now, remember, we're talking about a 6-year-old narcissist. So on top of, I guess, being physically attracted to me, he also saw me as somebody that could maybe move the scales for him in some way, you know? But his problem is that he doesn't realize I'm not fucking Captain Save a Ho. I'm not Captain Save a Friend. I'm not Captain Save a Beta Male. I'm not Captain Save a Nobody other than my kid. Okay, and we see how that turned out. So I wasn't about to do anything for him. I wasn't trying to introduce him to anybody I fucking knew. I wasn't about to fucking put him in connection with anybody I fucking knew, because I'm not vouching for this guy. I just met this guy. But, okay, so eventually, probably the end of January is when he actually went to a meeting and actually got patched in, actually got his first degree. Now, that, of course, is according to his account. But do I know that to be true? Probably not, because one thing that I did notice is that he has never, ever, ever worn a Perry. And trust me, I know Josh. If he has an opportunity to take pictures and do videos in a Perry, he would. Okay? So that's one of the things, like, I'm not really sure if he ever really got patched in. Okay. So that's the end of January. Okay? Let me back up. We're going to switch back to my story, okay? So that's his origin with the PBs. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about my relationship and how it ended, and then what happened afterward with the media, okay? And then what was happening and what's happening now on TikTok, okay? All right, so roll with me, okay? Because this is a Quentin Tarantino movie right now. We're jumping around. This is not sequential. This story is not sequential. So stay with me, okay? All right, stay alert, all right? So again, back to our relationship. He was annoying. He drank all the time. He was always coming out of pocket. He was always fucking embarrassing me. There was this one time, I think it might have been about a week and a half into me staying with him. We go into the store to buy some groceries, right? Okay, now mind you, DC is completely shut down. You cannot get food anywhere other than 7-Eleven and the grocery store, okay? And everything's to go, if anything is even open. You can get pizza and the groceries, okay? That's it, right? So we go to buy groceries, and, you know, I'm just chugging along, you know, buying what I want, getting what I get, and he's getting what he wants, and he goes through the self-checkout, right? This is one of many stories of his stupidity, and then also why I couldn't fucking be with this dude, right? This guy is getting certain items and not scanning them. And somehow he figured out, if you are scanning something and then with your other hand you take something else and you put it on the other side as if you scanned it, it all looks like it got scanned, but then you don't put it on the part that has the plastic bags, because if you put it there, it's going to catch the weight, okay? So he'll put it like somewhere else, like on another part of the register machine where it wasn't being weighed, but he also hadn't scanned it, right? So we're coming out. So he paid for everything, supposedly, right? And mind you, this guy had a fucking EBT card at the time. So he was on food stamps, okay? Grown-ass man. I understand he wasn't working, but he was on food stamps, okay? Not my type. Not my fucking type. But I didn't know that, because I wasn't looking through his wallet like that. I wasn't, okay? I'm a respectful woman. I'm not going to be intrusive. And obviously, I'm not expecting shit like this to happen. So we're walking out, and he's laughing and he's giggling and he's smiling, and he's talking about, oh yeah, I got some of this for free. I said, what do you mean you got this for free? We're walking out of the store together. Like, what do you mean you got this for free? He's like, yeah, you know, I didn't scan it. I said, so you're shoplifting while you're with me? You're in a store that has millions of fucking cameras. You're shoplifting while I'm in the store with you? I was fucking livid after that. You guys have no idea how fucking pissed I was. Because never in my life, and I'm almost 40 years old, never in my life have I ever dated, befriended, or spent time with anyone who has shoplifted. I've dated guys who've been in jail for fucking cocaine charges, but they would never walk into a store and shoplift. Shoplift booze and meat? Are you kidding me? I'm telling you that to tell you this. This guy's morality is about as trashy as it can fucking be. Okay? Another incident we had. This motherfucker can't think, he can't read, he can't count, he can't fucking drive. There was a time where, for New Year's, right? And this is right before I broke up with him, okay? Because it was just too much shit happening. Oh, the ankle monitor. Let me back up. Before we go to New Year's, again, let me bounce back. The ankle monitor. So I'm in bed. We're in bed, right? We're in bed one of these mornings. I can't remember when in December it was, but it was probably maybe a week before the end of the year, right? Definitely before Christmas, okay? I'm in bed, he's in bed, we're asleep. We hear someone banging on his apartment. Okay, and we're going to talk about his apartment in a second. We hear somebody banging on his apartment. They don't say who they are, though, okay? They don't say who they are. They're just banging on the door. So we're like, oh, fuck. No, this was right after Christmas. Right after Christmas. So we're both like, oh, fuck. We both think it's Antifa, okay? Because, mind you, he's already been doxxed, okay? I have Antifa up my ass and cyber stalking me. I don't know what's going on here. I'm thinking it's Antifa. It was 5 DC Metro cops. Josh runs into his little kitchenette, crouches down on the fucking ground, and just stays there. Okay, doesn't open the door, doesn't answer, doesn't say shit. Okay. These cops are in like damn near full SWAT gear. Okay, banging on the door. And eventually they get in through the other door because Joshua's apartment was in the basement of another house. So his landlord was an old lady who lived upstairs, and she had you know how when people, will convert their basements into an apartment. So that's what he lived in. Little did I know, and I didn't find this out till he got arrested, little did I know he hadn't been paying his rent for months. God knows how long. So he'd been lying to me about that, trying to get me to move in with him when he hasn't even fucking paid his bills. He can be getting evicted at any time, but he definitely made sure he abused that renter's memorandum, So, at least that's, I guess, why she didn't kick him out. So, she has a key to the other door. So she lets the cops in. They pick him up, right? And he doesn't fight him or nothing crazy. They pick him up and they take him to jail. They don't say what he's there for. They don't say what he's being arrested for. But that very morning, what we were supposed to do is he was supposed to drive with me down from DC to South Carolina to try to get my fucking kid out. Okay? So I end up driving by myself, completely shaken by the fact that 5 fucking cops in SWAT gear, fully fucking loaded, are like banging on the door and taking this guy that I'm laying in bed with. All right. So my mind is completely blown by it. Okay. I'm already on the road. So I'm like driving through North Carolina. I finally get a call from him in the afternoon. He says that he's out of jail and that that they gave him an ankle monitor. And I was like, what are you getting an ankle monitor for? What did you do? Like, what are they getting you for? Because I thought Maybe it was because he was shoplifting from the grocery store. But boy, am I stupid. Boy, am I fucking stupid. He finally admits that it's because he contacted his ex-girlfriend after she put a restraining order on him. And I'm just, mind you, I've been I've been at this dude's place for 2 fucking weeks. He has an active TPO against him from another woman, the woman that he was with right before me, the woman that he wanted to marry until he asked me to marry him, and then he asked Skyla to marry him. He's probably asking this fat girl on TikTok that he's supposedly with to marry him too, because that's what these narcissistic men do. They love bomb you, and then, you know, you realize that they play the exact same role in everybody's life that they come across, right? All right, you get that. So I'm in South Carolina. I'm fucking pissed. I'm screaming at him on the phone. We're arguing. I'm fucking livid, right? Like, I'm reading him his fucking rights, okay? I'm not able to get my daughter out. So I was like, look, this is my situation. What do you want to do? You know, because obviously I need to bring this rental car back to DC. I can't just stay in South Carolina with it. I need to bring it back to DC. So I bring it back to DC. My stuff is still in his place because obviously I'm not thinking that, I'm not thinking that whatever happened was a big deal, but clearly it was. He feeds me this line about, how she didn't want to break up with him properly, and she tried to put a restraining order on him, and he didn't know that the restraining order was put on him because it never got served, and blah, 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 blah. Excuse after excuse after excuse. Now, I'm not this stupid, okay? Because you have to understand, this guy has already been irritating me for 2 weeks. Now, he gets arrested while I'm in bed with him. On the day we're supposed to go drive to South Carolina, I'm not exactly happy, but my shit is still in his place, so obviously I have to come back. So I come back and I was like, look, dude, I cannot be submissive to you. You cannot be my boyfriend. I cannot be submissive to a man that compromises my safety as much as you have. Okay? Every day he was punching walls. Every day he was, slamming his hand down on the fucking table. Every time I even ignored him for just a second, he would have a fucking tantrum. Okay, every time I said one little fucking thing that he didn't like, he would have a tantrum. Okay, he was always talking about getting dogs and moving here and doing this, and I'm gonna be a big deal in the Proud Boys and all this other shit. Every day it was delusion, anger, drunkenness, delusion. Anger, drunkenness, delusion. Wake up angry. Wake up, get drunk. Wake up, be delusional. Lying to me about every fucking thing. And he thinks I'm so stupid. See, that's the thing that I always wondered about him. I couldn't tell if he thought I was stupid or if he's just so stupid that he doesn't know that I'm not stupid. So whatever. Couple days go by. We're not working it out, but I'm not ready to go home, and he's not kicking me out, and I'm waiting a couple more days to try to get money from unemployment so I can once again try to get my kid. Okay. We go up to upstate New York, right? And this is when I realize this motherfucker can't count. He can't do math. I let him drive. You know how on the GPS it'll say how many more miles you have to go to your destination? And then do you also know how, like, in your dashboard you can see in the gas how many more miles you have before you run out of gas, right? So it was something like we had 218, I remember the numbers, 218 miles of gas left, right? And it was 144 miles till the destination, okay? Because my aunt lives north of Syracuse. So we're stopping Okay, he wants to stop and take a break or get something or whatever. You know, probably wants to get another twisted tea because that's when twisted tea is what he drinks when he can't have whiskey or wine. Okay. This guy is arguing with me at the gas station about us needing more gas. Now, mind you, the whole 3 weeks we're hanging out, he's not paying for a fucking thing. Okay? The only thing that he really paid for was some of the food that he bought with his EBT card, and then obviously stealing whatever else I didn't know he was stealing from the store. But he never paid for a rental car, a hotel, a taco, a drink. He never fucking paid for any fucking thing. So I'm watching my pennies, and I'm not going to stop and put more gas in the tank when we don't fucking need it. And he's arguing me in the car about when we're going to need gas. And it's like, no, motherfucker. And that's when I realized the dude cannot count. He cannot do math. And it was shit like that every fucking day, which is why, and we're going to fast forward in a few minutes, which is why when he tried to do this thing, this Day of Unity in DC, talking about he's going to get 1 million fucking patriots to show up in DC after the fucking Capitol. Yeah, really? Okay, Josh, whatever you say. So, once again, we go to New York. Things did not go well with my aunt, okay, because she's a drunken psycho as well. We come back. We spend the day in Philly before we head down to DC, okay? We actually had a really good day together. He was sober. He was decent conversation. He wasn't annoying me. That was the last good day that I had with him, okay? Later that night, okay, so I think this might have been January 1st or January 2nd, okay? Later that night, we go to his friend's house to bring him a cheesesteak. Josh starts getting drunk. We're doing karaoke. Josh turns off a song right before I start singing it. That's just how fucking narcissistic and inconsiderate he is. I'm supposed to be your girlfriend. You love me, you want to marry me, but I'm about to sing karaoke and your drunk ass just walks up and turns the fucking song off when your friends are clearly enjoying my voice and they wanted me to sing for them. Okay, cool. All right. I see what kind of boyfriend you are. He gets so fucking drunk that night. He's throwing, I'm trying to drive him home. He's being belligerent in front of his friends. I'm cussing him out. I'm popping off on him. He brings these drinks in the car with him. I tell him to fucking drink it or throw it out the window. He's fucking throwing shit, like just acting real fucking crazy. And that was the last straw for me. So after the arrests, the shoplifting, the stupidity, the using me for the clout, the using me to try to get in good with the frat boys, using me, trying to take my money when he knew I was on fucking unemployment and, not fucking spending any of his own money, even though he would get his own money and like spend it on whiskey, but then I'm the one who's fucking buying tacos when we're trying to eat while we're on the road. Like, come on, bro. I'm the one renting all the cars, putting all the gas in the cars. Are you serious? So I reached my fucking limit with him. That was the last night that I saw Josh. Okay. The next day, I fucking packed everything in my bag. I had a friend of mine give me some money for a hotel room. I took an Uber to Maryland, where the hotel room was, and that was the last night I ever saw Josh. In person. Okay. Now, I don't want to victim shame here, but we do need to talk about some of his exes for a second. Any woman that tolerates this shit is a piece of shit. Okay. Skyla's a piece of shit. His baby mama's a piece of shit. Any other woman that he may have dated, blue-haired girl was a piece of shit. These women are all pieces of shit because these women have all enabled him to behave the way that he behaves. Okay? I might have been the only one that didn't. To be honest with you, I think I might have been the only one who didn't. And even though he never put his hands on me or even attempted to. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that he knew if he did, I could make one phone call and get every PB on the East Coast to come there, and they would probably murder him on my behalf. Okay. I think he knew that I was being watched. He knew that I was, I had relationships in the conservative community that he couldn't have and that he didn't have. So I think if he does beat women, he definitely never tried to beat me up. I don't think he would. But with all that being said, I know that the amount of stalking and harassment that he tried to do was pretty scary. And I could see how it would be scary for other women. When a man of his size is punching holes in the walls and punching doors and throwing furniture and breaking his own furniture in his own house, that can very likely be a precursor to domestic violence in a lot of situations. So, like I'm saying, like that type of behavior is very intimidating, okay? For a woman that isn't as traumatized as I am, for a woman who isn't as strong as I am, that type of behavior can be very fucking scary. So I have no doubt in my mind that he fucking stalked and harassed all of his previous girlfriends, because he did it to me. And to prove it, I'm going to show y'all a video, the types of videos that he used to send me. Okay, 1 second. Okay, shit. So I just messed that up. Okay, anyway, so listen. Yeah, nobody. It was like he was trying to bully me into loving him. It was like he was trying to intimidate me into loving him. And I could see how with a woman that is not as strong as me and probably not as fucked up in the head as me, they could see that as passion. But I know better. I know what narcissistic abuse is, and therefore this type of shit where he's threatening to kill himself if I don't do what he says, or I mean, I could just see how much crazier that could be for a woman that A, is not as physically strong as me, B, does not have the connections and the networking system and the layer of protection that I have around me, and C, a woman that thinks that this kind of shit is actually being passionate. It's being poetic or it's being romantic, which again is what a 6-year-old would think. Okay, so I'm going to play you guys a video so you know what I'm talking about. This was a video that he sent personally to my phone. And this is just one example of many that he sent me trying to bully me and intimidate me into like coming back to him.
Told that the demonstrators fully intended to disrupt the convention.
I love you.
What they had heard at the band shell only inflamed their
Please, did.
He's drunk.
I couldn't for a lot longer.
I felt that I had led this group of people into a trap. People who had committed to nonviolence were now saying it doesn't work. They killed Martin Luther King and we've got to take on new methods. I just felt like a total...
I don't deserve this shit.
I don't deserve this shit.
Began to break up the line.
In some weird way. I say I don't deserve it.
Headed for the bridges leading out of the park.
Yeah, you do.
It's wrong with anybody else. Nobody else gives a fuck, so.
Well, nobody loves me.
Away from the amphitheater at the Delegate Hotel.
At 3 o'clock tonight, I would murder
As
myself.
the demonstrators were being kept at bay, the delegates were finally voting on the peace flag and the direction of the war.
This is not a joke.
On the minority report,
Listen, I can't.
Then be done. Should have killed yourself then.
were handed a crushing defeat.
The minority report is not agreed to.
The convention adverted to the war.
No, nobody does love you, Josh, because you are an absolute fucking animal. No, no one loves you, okay? because this is how you act. And when you send videos to women saying things like that, and you have a weapon in your hand, that is why he's getting fucking TPOs. Okay? That is why he's getting restraining orders against him, because he thinks this is how he can make someone love him. Now, my ass was already out the door. I was done. Let me tell you how he came back into my life a couple weeks after the Capitol. Okay? So, he's at the Capitol. Okay? He gets arrested. Couple of my friends, couple of my girlfriends, Patriot friends, they see his ass on Twitter. Okay? They see his ass on Twitter. They're seeing pictures and videos of him and shit in the Capitol on Twitter. All right? Obviously, Antifa is doing all of their research, and they're getting everybody. They're fucking building websites. They're working hand in hand with the FBI. Antifa is all over this, right? So Joshua's name comes up in the news, or his face comes up in the news, and they contact me and they let me know. And at that point, you know, I still don't give a shit. I am still basically floating around the East Coast and the Midwest, trying to stay as close to South Carolina as possible. Eventually on the 15th of January, Josh never went to jail, so ouch, damn it, oh, all right, somehow Josh and I get in contact again, and I think we got in contact through a mutual friend of ours, okay? And mind you, Joshua, again, at this point, he has not been sworn into the fraternity yet. He doesn't know anybody in the fraternity. He shouldn't know it. He doesn't know anybody at this point, okay? Somehow, Josh and I are talking, and I guess, like, I don't know, like, very casual stuff. And I happened to tell him where I was, trying to get my daughter in South Carolina. And my daughter, when she did what she did, apparently Josh was kind of the only person who actually knew where I was. So, you know, he did try to help me. He did try to save my life. He did try to... you know, his name came up in the police report, so he did try to contact the police and let them know what was happening. But so did, you know, probably dozens, if not hundreds of other patriots on my channel who were also looking for me, okay? But the way that he said it was that he said like he was the one who saved my life. And I didn't have my phone on me, so I didn't know what the hell was going on, okay, until at least 48 hours later. So I'm going through all this trauma. I'm going through this really, really bad situation. My kid is in a really, really bad situation when I get her out of the hospital. She's still in a bad situation. But he made sure to let me know to make it about him. And that was, again, one of the things that always pissed me off about him. It didn't matter what anyone else was going through, what anyone else was talking about. He always made everything about him. Okay, so he used my vulnerability in that situation to try to kind of inch back into my life. And I will admit, you know, because he knew the inside details of what was going on with my kid, but other people didn't, that was really the only reason after what happened that I was able to, that I even entertained the idea of even talking to him again, even just as friends, okay? So I go back to Vegas, and I end up staying in my unit in Vegas, and the Vegas chapter of the frat boys, they're visiting me and taking care of me and hanging out with me and making sure I'm eating, and, you know, they're just checking on me and making sure I'm good. They were really great to me for about, you know, a couple of weeks. You know, that was really great. He starts feeding me some bullshit about he wants to move to Tennessee and he's going to get this ankle monitor off, and his his court date is January 28th, and you know, he's going to talk to the feds, and they don't have anything on him. And I was like, well, why would you want to talk to the feds? Because you don't know anybody. You don't know anybody in the fraternity. You don't know anybody. You barely know anybody in your own chapter, okay? You haven't even been patched in yet. You don't have anybody's fucking phone number. You don't have anybody's information. What the fuck do you mean you're going to cooperate with the feds? Like, so that was confusing to me. And he's like, yeah, you know, I'm going to talk to him. I was like, but about what? You don't have any information to give them. What do you need to talk to them about? All right. That was kind of a weird thing. And then another weird thing that came up. All right, I'm actually say goodbye on Live Me. Make sure you go follow me on Red Pill Rage on YouTube channel. I am Red Pill TV on Instagram, and I am Jenny Red Pill on TikTok. Okay. Some of the receipts are on the phone. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. So this guy contacts me. His name is Tristan Yoder. And I guess he was either in the DC PB chapter or he was in another chapter somewhere else on the East Coast. So Tristan contacts me out of nowhere and says that he's got this GoFundMe for, oh shit, they don't, oh, damn, they don't even have it up anymore. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Maybe it's on here. Yes, okay. So this guy Tristan Yoder sets up this account for Joshua. And as you can see, only $620 was raised. Their goal was $30,000. And at first, you know, I'm thinking, okay, well, I mean, this is in January, so none of us knew how serious things were going to get with this insurrection bullshit, right? So I go ahead, I'm like, oh, okay, that's great, you know, and Josh tells me about it, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. But then Josh sends me this message, and this is when I get pissed. This is not strike one in our friendship in terms of all the dumb shit that he's done to me and in front of me, but this is strike one in terms of me deciding that he can't even be in my life as a friend, let alone as a partner, okay? So, let me pull this up. I fucking screenshotted everything. Everything. Fuck him. I screenshotted this motherfucker. Everything. Okay. So, Josh sends me this text message. And he says something to the effect of, I might, these were his exact words. He says, I might come out better in this, meaning his legal situation. He says, I might come out better after than I did before, or even more than I thought. Okay, hold on. Where is it? By the way, I did make this website because, and this is this website was when I realized he couldn't fucking read. Okay, all right. So he says, PB has a GoFundMe for me. I guess I do matter. I say, oh, that's sweet. He says, yeah, just found out. We might end up better off than we thought. I love you, woman, and I'm going to be a big deal. Won't stop till I am. Okay? And then I want to marry you. Damn, apparently I'm a big deal, and we are a big thing, LOL. You know, meaning I guess he thinks me and him were going to be the, you know, homecoming king and queen of the frickin' fraternity or whatever. Now, at the time that he sent me this message, I didn't quite understand what he was talking about. But then when I went on the fundraiser and I saw the dollar amount that they were asking for, I said to myself, oh, no. This isn't going to happen, okay? Josh is not going to hustle 30 grand out of the fraternity when he's going around telling everybody a different story. He's telling me that his friend Ray is going to pay for his lawyer. Then he's telling me that this bitch Ann Speckard, and we're going to get to her in a second, that this bitch Ann Speckard is going to get him an attorney. Then he's telling the Proud Boys that he needs the money for an attorney. Okay. And then he's telling me that he's going to talk to the feds and they're just going to drop his charges because he's going to talk and cooperate with the feds. So he's telling everybody a different story. He's trying to hustle money from the PBs. He's trying to hustle free legal representation from this left-wing, okay, we're going to get to her in a second, and Dr. Ann Speckard, this fucking, terrorism specialist who consults for the Homeland Security, okay? He's going to tell her, he's going to hustle, try to get legal representation through her connections. And this dumb bitch just told him to go to the ACLU, which isn't going to fucking represent him, okay? They're not going to take his case. But he's so stupid, he doesn't know who the ACLU is, okay? And then he's telling Lou, or telling me, or telling his sister that this other individual that he's probably got some sort of weird gay relationship with is going to pay for his lawyer, okay? So when that shit happened, I contacted this dude, and I don't give a fuck. I'll dox his ass. I don't give a fuck. He doesn't deserve to be wearing colors either. This motherfucker, Amish Beard, okay? This is Tristan Yoder. I told him, and I contacted him, and I said, look, Josh told me that someone else is paying for his lawyer, okay? So I don't know why you have this GoFundMe up for him, because I don't think he really needs the money. And then on top of it, you are aware that he is talking to left-wing media, right? And Tristan didn't know that. Tristan didn't know that he had already been talking to this doctor, which we're going to get to in a second. He didn't know that he was about to start talking to this other British TV channel, and then lo and behold, now he's on fucking CNN and now HBO, trying to represent, the black and yellow as if he's still in the organization, or that he was some, important ranking member in the organization, when we already know this was nothing other than a street swear-in, and it didn't fucking count for anything. And then we also know that as a first-degree fucking Proud Boy, you don't have any fucking clout. You are nothing but a grunt. You are a beer boy. You are a runner. You are a laborer. You are nothing more than a fucking production assistant in your first degree, okay? But he's going around acting like he fucking owns the place, like he runs the fucking organization, okay? So I hit up Amish Beard, Tristan, and we do in fact actually begin to talk on the phone, and I told him everything, because there's one thing that you're not going to do. There's one thing I wasn't going to allow Josh to do, and that was rip off my fucking brothers. That wasn't going to happen. I told Tristan, I said, Tristan, he is talking to this lady. This lady works for Homeland Security. This lady is doing a study about him, but he's so delusional that he thinks it's a documentary when it's not. Okay? I'm going to put the links to all the media that Joshua has done so you guys can all see this. Okay? I want you to just see the stupidity that comes out of his mouth and how stupid these individuals, these reporters, make him look. But he's so delusional that he thinks any attention is good attention, right? So that was my last attempt, because I'm not going to try to find out who the chapter president is. I'm going to bring it to the attention of the person who called me, okay? And I told him, Tristan, to bring it to his chapter president's attention. Now, I'm sure Tristan didn't do it because he's 24 years old and dumb as rocks, because he probably got charmed by Joshua's muscles and aggression and thinks that Joshua is cool, okay? So I'm sure Tristan never said anything. And now the Proud Boys have Tristan to thank for that. Now the fraternity has Tristan to thank for all of the damage that Joshua has created, All right. Thanks, Tristan. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for enabling somebody to do shit that is against their code of behavior. Thank you, Tristan, for enabling somebody to continue to disparage the fraternity when they already have so much bad press. Good job. Good on you, Tristan. Good on you, DC PBs. Good on you for doing your research. Good on you for fucking supporting this fucking maniac. And now look at you. Now look at you. Anyway, so moving on. I was pretty much the last I really interacted with Josh was the end of January, maybe the first couple days of February. I'm not like these other bitches. I know how to use block on my phone. I know how to use block on my email. I know how to use block on my FaceTime, okay? I know how to do that, all right? I don't have to tolerate 6 months of someone harassing me in order to, feel good about myself, okay? I know what narcissistic abuse is. I wasn't going to stand for it. And even when I just tried to be friends with this fucking psycho, he was still fucking up. He was still lying. He was still triangulating. He was still trying to make me jealous of other women. He was still trying to bully me into loving him. He was still trying to bully me into, moving into his, moving in with him in DC. And then we're supposed to move to Tennessee. And he still doesn't have the fucking ankle bracelet off. He told me that shit was supposed to come off in 6 months. And what would I look like as a professional, respectable woman? What would I look like being in a relationship with a man who has fucking active restraining orders on him from women before? What would that make me look like? Come on. You guys know me better than that. I'm lonely, but I'm not desperate. And I'm lonely because I'm picky. I don't need a fucking criminal that I gotta babysit, that shoplifts from the fucking store, can't pay for anything, doesn't pay his fucking bills, doesn't see or speak to his kids, uses me for money, tries to use me for clout, tries to get on my fucking YouTube channel and take over my shit, okay? Can't pay his fucking phone bill. His phone got cut off twice in a 2-week period. Who does that? What grown alpha male lives that way? I was always wondering why he only made phone calls when we went into stores, and it took me forever to figure out that the reason he was doing that is he was making Wi-Fi phone calls because he wasn't even paying his bill. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that. It took me about 3 weeks to realize that. That's why he would only call people when he was in stores. Ain't that a motherfucker? He can't read. He can't count. Okay. Fast forward a couple months. I'm not hearing from him anymore. And I figured he got a new bitch. Because that's what narcissists do. They get their new supply. And then they don't need the old supply. So I already knew that his attention for me had been replaced. And like, great. Okay. So somehow, again, on TikTok, he ends up on my page. He's with this chick named Skyla White. This girl's 25 years old. She looks like a ex-meth head, okay? She's got 3 kids. But she seems like a professional woman. I mean, she's wearing scrubs in her videos, so I assume she's probably an RNA or something like that. Or a massage therapist or dental assistant or something like that. He's promoting this thing called the Day of Unity, right? I'm looking at some of his content, and he's talking about he's scheduling all these speakers, and he's getting permits from the city, and he's gonna have security from hundreds of Proud Boys and in DC, and he's promising these speakers that he's going to get 1 million people to DC because he's such a big deal. And he's just going on and on and on and on about this shit. And I'm looking at these videos and I'm like, how are people believing this? I know this man personally to be somebody who cannot write, he cannot read, and he cannot count. So you're going to trust an individual like this to put on an event that is going to cost hundreds of, not hundreds of thousands, but several, like a few $1,000s to put together, because you know you do need lights and you need stages, you need sound equipment, you need rentals, you need porta potties, you need to apply for permits, you need to schedule police escorts, police protection, you know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into putting on a rally, which those of us who are adults, we realize those things, but again, we're dealing with a 6-year-old child. So he doesn't realize that, so he's just running his mouth, and I'm dumbfounded by the amount of people that are fucking supporting him. But I don't say anything. Now, right around the same time, I see that he's with this 25-year-old, okay? And I also see that he's continuing to, you know, post a lot about her, take a lot of pictures with her, which is what he used to do with me. And why don't I just go ahead and show these receipts right now, just so nobody is questioning whether or not what I'm saying is real. Hold on, let me go back. So I'm seeing him running around with her and, you know, posing her and making everything seem like, you know, they together and, you know, they're so in love and he's gonna marry her and blah 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 blah. So anyway, that relationship ends up falling apart after a couple of days because I'm sure that he got drunk one night and did something in front of her or in front of her children, or possibly, you know, killed their pet, or could have done anything that, you know, this drunk loser fucking does when he loses control, which is every day. Okay, so that clearly didn't work out. That's me and him at the Watergate. Okay. That was December 15th. This is us in front of another building in DC. So, yeah, I mean, there's no question that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I've already been dealing with this motherfucker. And so that falls apart. And then needless to say, Day of Unity falls apart. And, couple more months go by. I'm not seeing anything online. I'm not really worried. I don't really fucking care. But then I find out that, you know, he was on CNN. I find out that he was on another program. Some reporter or producer from England actually contacted me on Twitter asking me about my relationship with this guy. So he's playing everyone. He's not even getting paid. He's not even getting paid to do these interviews. But he's doing them because he thinks it makes him look better, or he thinks it's going to bring him a fucking following, or he thinks he's going to build a YouTube channel out of it, or he thinks he's going to get donations from people all over the world to support him. Okay? So all this is continuing. And then, you know, again, let's fast forward to now. A couple weeks ago, you know, his face pops up again on my For You page. And now he's beefing with all these other conservatives and all these other patriots about God knows what. I don't even know what they're beefing about, but he's threatening to kill everybody. He's telling everybody that he's got boys in DC who are going to come fuck this person up. He's claiming that he has weapons that he doesn't have. He's claiming that he has friendships that he doesn't have. I could almost guarantee you Joshua either was never patched in officially with the DC chapter. He was either never officially patched in, or he got disavowed. I can guarantee you He is not a Proud Boy, and he is still walking around, still doing interviews, still trying to intimidate people online and off, still doing all this other shit to try to control other people. He's lost his fucking mind. Okay? So there's so much more that I want to tell you guys. There is so much more. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put everything is going to be in the show notes. Every interview he did, you can look at the jackedbeast.com website and see things that he sent me, things that he's written to me, videos on YouTube about him lying to other people, harassing other people. It's all going to be right there for you. Okay? So that is going to go, I'm going to go ahead and conclude our episode of Red Pill TMZ. I hope that you guys can recognize the narcissist in your life, the alcoholic in your life, the pathological liar in your life, and you do not get involved with people like that, because they will continue to drag you down in their hell for as long as they can. And unlike everyone else in Joshua's life, I have decided to break my silence because I'm not going to be a fucking enabler. Okay? So, it is what it is. And with that, y'all have a good night.